Hi, my name is Ashley Share with the Share Institute Inc. ShareLove.Fund. We will read the sutras. We're on book 2, sutra number 9, 2.9. In English, it is clinging to life, flowing by its own potency due to past experiences, exists even in the wise. In the words of the yoga gurus, this is explained as follows. The next obstacle is clinging to life. Here we can get a clue to the nature and rebirth also. Many Westerners don't believe in reincarnation. They feel that it's all over once we die. I'm just going to interrupt this analysis to say that these are the views of contemporary yoga gurus. This is not the view of the Share Institute or ShareLove.Fund. We don't teach religion, and this is just a critical thinking exercise, and we're exploring the ancient yogic texts in connection with giving the coursework necessary for free yoga degrees for incarcerated women. And one can become a yoga teacher with or without personally adopting the principles and teachings of yoga. So you can learn it as a fictional book. You can learn it as reality. You can pick and choose what to adopt, and it's just a tool. But what you think and what you believe is entirely up to you, and no one's trying to brainwash or impose any views on anyone. But let us continue and understand the analysis provided by contemporary gurus. In the yoga philosophy, it reminds us that all our knowledge comes through experience. Without experience, we cannot understand or learn anything. Even the books only remind us of something we have experienced in the past. They help kindle a fire that is already inside of us. That fire must be there first for the kindling stick to kindle it. For example, have you ever experienced a dragon fruit? It's abundant in certain locations. In certain seasons, it's soft and tasty. But even if I explain 3 hours what a dragon fruit is and how it tastes, you'll not fully understand it until you taste it, because it requires experiencing it to truly have the knowledge. Knowledge only comes through experience. If you allow a baby to crawl on a tabletop, as it comes to the edge and is about to fall, it will yell. Why? Out of fear of falling and dying? How can fear of death come into the mind of a baby if the baby can only fear death if it has died before? I will interrupt this. I don't know if this guru has had a baby, but I find that babies just fall off the table like a million times. But anyway, but that is the concept. And whether or not you believe in reincarnation or not, ShareLove.Fund is not trying to advocate that reincarnation exists or doesn't exist, but the ancient teachings of yoga are based in Hinduism, which deals with the concept of reincarnation. You can study it metaphorically or literally, whatever makes sense to you. But I'll continue with the teachings of the modern day gurus. Some might say that's just an instinct. But what does instinct mean? Yoga says an instinct is a trace of an old experience that has been repeated many times, and the impressions have sunk down to the bottom of the mental lake. Although they go down, they aren't completely erased. Don't you ever forget anything? Don't think you ever forget anything. All experiences are stored, and when the proper atmosphere is created, they come to the surface again. When something happens that we do several times, it forms a habit. Continue with that habit for a long time and it becomes our character. Continue with the character and eventually it becomes our life and it comes up as instinct. Some of us may play the guitar. When you first learned, you might have even marked the notes on the guitar to get the proper finger position. Each time we play, we check to see if the string is right where it should be, manipulated by our fingers. But after a few months, a guitar player becomes proficient and could even look at someone else and talk to someone else and get the finger position right without looking. How? By the experience becoming a habit. And eventually the habit becomes the character. Probably people say, maybe you're a natural born guitarist. In the same way, our instincts were once our experiences. That's, in the words of this yoga guru, goes on to say that is the reason why the fear of death exists. That again is your own interpretation. The Share Institute doesn't advocate this particular view. We're just studying it as one interpretation of this sutra. In the same way, all of our experiences and feelings are based on an experience we had. That's why the fear of death exists. We, in the yoga philosophy, because of reincarnation, the idea that people have died and then they come back, they're saying that because everybody has died before and knows that happens, that's why they are afraid of death. So that's something people can adopt or not adopt, but that's the concept behind the sutra. Some people have old cars. If you offer them the latest model of the car, they don't want it. They don't want a new car. They want the car that they've always had. That's sort of like the attachment to our body. Like if you believe in reincarnation, you would be born again, you would have a younger body. But the idea is that people fear death and they are attached to their current body. They don't want a new car. They don't want a new physical self. They want to keep the one they're attached to. Attachment to the body is like attachment to the car. Many people do not know this and they cling to the body even when it gets old and dilapidated. The constant clinging, breaking away, and clinging again and breaking away is why mortality is afraid of death. This is based on ignorance of our true nature. So this is part of the ignorance, whether dormant, feeble, intercepted, or sustained. And this is the idea that we are clinging to life even though we know that we have so much deeper things to offer than our own flesh and blood, that we cling. And I'm going to repeat the sutra to end. Sutra 2.9, clinging to life, flowing by its own potency due to past experience, exists even in the wise. And it's this idea that like even the wisest person is attached to their own physical body. And this idea in yoga that we can find more happiness by not being attached to our body, and this idea that we can exist in a really deeper, more spiritual sense that can even transcend our own physical form. So whether or not we believe this literally, we can use it as a tool to feel empowered and feel interconnected. Thank you for your time. Namaste.